Hi YouTube world, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. My name is Adrienne. I live in New York City and I love beauty. I love music. No, music. What am I talking about? I mean, I do love music, but I love beauty. I love skincare. I just love all the pretty things that make life a little prettier. Thank you for joining me today. I am super excited about what I want to share. So I'm labeling it as like a public service announcement. When I find a product that I fall head over heels with, that's sort of like what even motivated me to start YouTube. Was there were sometimes like products that I would just take a risk on, like no one's yet reviewed them, or there were so little reviews online for them, or something. You're just not hearing people talk about it. But I went ahead and I said, you know what? I had a good experience with that brand before. I like their quality. Something about that catches my eye. I want to give it a try. And I went ahead and I would kind of give it a shot and be super excited about it. And I wanted to share that excitement. And of course, pandemic hits and I don't even have access to my core friends at work and my core friends that I would say, hey guys, there's this awesome beauty, skincare, whatever product. So that was a big motivator for me to join the YouTube community, because I feel like I sometimes go out on a limb and I choose something that people are maybe a little hesitant about trying. And this is one of those items. This is the STILA Camouflage palette. This little guy I received earlier this week, and it has blown my mind. This is the palette right here. I will insert swatches at the end of this video. There will be swatches in like soft daylight so that you could see what it looks like, but I'll also insert swatches here. I was immensely impressed. So some background with STILA. I recently kind of rediscovered STILA and my love for STILA when they came out with the tinted skin balm. And I purchased that and I get along with that product very well. I have combination leaning to dry skin and it sits beautifully on my skin. I loved it. And again, it was sort of like, I want to share this with the world. And I did that. And so in doing that and really thinking out like all the products of STILA that I've had a lot of success with, it's just made me kind of notice the brand more. And now they've been coming out with a couple of more things, and I've decided to like jump in and try them out. When I saw this palette advertised, there's something about the color scheme that really spoke to me. There's a grungy quality to it. And I loved the size. I mean, I'm into the smaller palettes, and yet it was substantial enough that in looking at it, I said, you know, I could create a solid 4 looks, maybe 5, 6 looks out of this. And I just said, you know, I'm gonna try this out. And when I received it, and I think I've actually never tried STILA's eyeshadow formula before. That's a lie. I purchased 2 palettes from them in the past. These are the 2 palettes. I'm gonna insert pictures here because I can't recall the names of the palettes right now. And the palettes were very beautiful and as heavy as a Pat McGrath palette. I mean, they were so substantial you could kill someone with them. They were bricks. But I was really underwhelmed with them. And I actually purchased both palettes that were released as part of that line. And I thought that the metallics were very inconsistent, they were very firm, and that the mattes were very patchy. And I quickly decluttered both of them, and they were expensive palettes. So actually I do have some experience with STILA. But yet there was still something about this one that caught my eye, so I went ahead and I invested in it. And holy guacamole, people, this is good. This is really good. I want to walk you through some eyeshadow looks that I've done, but first let's apply it and I'll tell you kind of what I've liked about it. So I'm going to, it has like the names in the back, but I don't know how it aligns. So I'm just gonna point to the shadows. I'm gonna be using 3 shadows. I'm gonna be using these 3 kind of mauve mid-tone. This is more of a little brown, but I'm using these 3 shadows, and then we'll talk about the formula. We'll talk about why I'm impressed. And I have some things in mind that are kind of like dupes, maybe, that I want to talk about. But I do think this formula is very special. And yeah, I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that I invested in this. And I've been getting more into, I'm just going to apply that lightest color, which is sort of like a rosy taupe as the crease. And you're going to see how easy of an eye look this is. This is a 1, 2, 3 eye look, and it looks so impressive. I've done this eye look before, actually, which is why I can speak to it. It's so impressive, and it just blends itself. And I love it. I was so happy to get this. And just right when I swatched it, I said, uh-oh, this is something. This is something. And honestly, when I swatched some of these metallics, one thing came to mind. And that one thing is Sydney Grace, which I know is like sacrilege because I own so much Sydney Grace and her palettes and everything. And I love Sydney Grace's formula. It is my favorite formula. But when I touched these creamy, very foiled, smooth shadows, automatically my mind went there. So I went ahead already, and this is the color I use, which again is like this beigey, taupey, rosy tone. What I love about this palette is you get these 4 matte colors, 4 shimmers, and this one here actually, you see it has sparkles, but when you put it on your eye, none of the sparkles appear. So I think that because it's a darker matte, for some reason, that color in particular, they felt it probably important to add the sparkles to make it more blendable. Because at first I was like, oh, why did they do this? I don't like this. But as I worked with it more, I realized, wait a second, this is blending like a dream. And I can't see any of those sparkles, which made me then realize I think this has something to do with some aspect of their formula. The other 3 mattes do not have any sort of sparkles whatsoever. And so I'm just putting that brown that has those shimmers in the outer corner of my eye. And I don't want to make this too dark, so I'm going to go back and forth with my brush to blend it out, because the star of the show is the metallic I'm going to put on. And it actually has a mirror. It has a mirror, so maybe I should be using the mirror. Oh, yeah, what a difference. Isn't that novel? A mirror helps you apply makeup. Oh, I tell you people, sometimes I get so excited over something that logic just gets thrown out the door. Does that ever happen to you? You're just so worked up about something in a good way. Although, you know, it happens in the bad way too, but you get worked up, and then your tongue gets tied, and you start something and you don't finish it, and you work up a frenzy. So this is a nice plain matte eye. Actually, I would put mascara on, and this is a great daytime look. In fact, I did a look just like this. I'll insert it here, which it was just an all matte look, perfect for daytime work, appropriate. And then you can, if you have this palette on you, it's so easy to whip out and then just add that shimmer before you go out, and you just become this whole other person. So I'm going to put on that shimmer now. I'm going to go ahead and use my finger, though I have used brushes, and they do apply. They apply nice and lightly without using Fix Plus or another setting spray. But if you wanted to apply much more foiled, you can just dip your brush in, pick up some products, spray some. I used MAC Fix Plus, and then apply that on your eye, and you get a real foiled effect. I, however, love to use my finger, so I'm just using this shade here. And I mean, look at this. Look at how creamy, uniform foil and they feel like suede. The shades feel like suede. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And I'm putting this on, and I should say, did I wear primer? Not really. I put on concealer and I use the concealer as my primer. I put concealer and I set it a little bit. If you are wondering what is on my cheeks, my lips, my bronzer, all that stuff, I'm getting better about putting that in the description box. So I'm gonna put that down below so you know. So if you wanna know what this lippy is, read below. But yeah, I'm trying to embrace taking these steps if we're doing this thing, if we're doing this YouTube thing. Let's do it professional. Let's do it right. Even if I have a very demanding day job. Just want you to see, I mean, this is so beautiful. This color is this like tinge of rose, taupe, metallic color, and it's like the perfect smoky eye color. I love this. I love this. This reminds me so much of a Eyes to Mesmerize I have from Charlotte Tilbury, the oyster color. It's very much like that. It does remind me of, and I will compare it now to a shade by Sydney Grace. So this is the Stila, and the shade by Sydney Grace is from the Love palette. And I didn't do a full comparison of all the shades. It did remind me, and yep, sure enough, it's very much, very similar. This is the shade Albert in the Love palette, and this is the Stila. And let's just swatch those. So very, very, very similar. I would say that the Stila shadow has a tiny bit more like a mauve brown, whereas this one is leaning more cool silver, but they are on the eyes. You can't tell the difference. You cannot tell the difference. Let me put mascara on. I will be right back, and we will talk about some other pros and cons and thoughts, and maybe another comparison for you, something that I thought of when I looked at this palette. And yeah, we'll try to wrap this up quickly. Be back. Okay, I'm back. I just applied some mascara. So let us finish up our thoughts about this. I think this is priced at about $35. If you've never purchased from Stila before, I think you can get 20% off, something like that. It is a great travel palette. I think the quality is off the charts good. Really, really, truly good. I mean, that's just one example of the creaminess. I will live swatch for you a couple of other colors. The other metallics, oh God, I love this color. They have this like steely blue color. Oh, it's so, so beautiful. And I use this color primarily in this eye look, which I will show here, which combine that steely blue with this green matte color, which, I mean, so, so pigmented. Look at that. And it does blend very well. And in fact, what I love about this color is as you're blending it out and blending it out, you can get such good gradation from it that can make it actually quite soft and approachable. So I use this in another look as well, which I'll include here. And just varying degrees of like smokiness, because it really is, that green is the darkest color. I mean, outside of this one, the darkest color. So you're using these colors to kind of build some depth into the look. Let me swatch that gold. So this gold here, oh, so nice. I love this tone gold. It's not too yellow. It's not too green. And it's not too champagne. It's really giving you some richness. And again, that payoff is delicious, delicious. I need to wipe my hands. The brown that has that shimmer in it, it's not as creamy to the touch as the green is. And you see that it's not even as Sorry, that was a little patchy because my finger was still a little wet from my makeup wipe. But that's that color there. Even though it's presenting itself to be a little patchy, when you're working with it on the eye, it's not patchy at all. Not patchy at all. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the two lightest shades, which are great transition shades. One is more peachy, one is more taupey. And those are those two there. Again, I have nicer swatches in daylight at the end of this video. So if you want to see those, you can skip ahead or just wait or just hang around for another 2 minutes, please. Oh, that gold shade, I use that on my eyes. So I'll insert a picture of that one here so you can get an idea of what that looks like. And I really like this eye look. And this was just me playing around like all week because I didn't have anywhere to go. And then the last color is this gorgeous green color. This also reminds me of something I have from Sydney Grace. This one here is a bit more, has some glitter in it, where I would say that these colors here are much creamier and pure metallic. This one has that creaminess, has that pure metallic, but also has a lot of sparkle. And so this shade serves you very well if you were to go ahead and spray your brush with like a setting spray or a MAC Fix Plus and then apply it on the eye. You get much more of that foiled effect plus the glitter. You may also, although I didn't experience a lot of fallout after I applied the eyeshadows, I did experience fallout when I was applying the shadows. Not this look, and I knew this look wouldn't yield a lot of fallout on my face, which is why I applied my makeup first. But some of the other darker colors, there was some fallout. So you may want to do your makeup first before. So let me just also insert a picture. I actually did do the application with the foiled, much more foiled effect in that photo. But just what I love about the tones in here is it just feels very, very sophisticated. I feel like it would suit so many eye colors, so many skin tones. There's enough richness in here and depth that I think it would work. I mean, I don't know. Y'all tell me. One palette that it sort of reminded me of a little bit, but of course doesn't contain some of my favorite shades, was the Colourpop off Melrose palette. I really love this palette. I've been enjoying it immensely, and it's this palette here. And I feel like between this sort of peachy color, even though it's a sheen, and this gold and this brown, and even this kind of duochrome shade, you get a lot of the same type of murky grunginess, yet still you can create really pretty ethereal light looks. And these perform very, very well too. So, you know, if this isn't in your budget, I get it. Maybe this is, but if you really can afford it, this is pretty darn spectacular. Full disclosure, there's a second palette in this line, this camo line by STILA, the Nobility palette, which looks super, super boring online. Super peach, super brown. I'm going to put a picture of it right here. And after trying this one, I ordered it. So it's coming to me. So I will do like a round 2 of this down the road, like a refresher of new STILA products. And I will include that as part of my get ready with me with new STILA, because there's a couple of other items that I have that I acquired since my last video of like kind of rediscovering my love for STILA that I will include. So I am very pleasantly surprised with this palette. I'm glad I took the risk. If I had to be, I realized I didn't say anything critical about it, but I do have some thoughts. I wish, as pretty as the packaging is with this camo, I didn't expect it to be like 100% cardboard. I thought there would be some, I don't know, that this would be almost like plastic. I've been enjoying a lot of STILA's packaging, like in the Tinted Balm, for example. It's this really pretty thin plastic, but I don't know, there's something elegant and substantial. I thought this was metal. So when I got this and it's a heavy duty cardboard, I was just a little surprised. That being said, I appreciate the mirror in the cardboard packaging, and I also appreciate that this is much more recyclable and less damaging to the planet, which is super important. My other criticism of the palette, if I were to adjust anything related to this palette, I would say this brown, I would just question why they couldn't have gone a bit deeper. I would have liked it to at least match the depth of that green, if not even go darker, because I tried to play with it as a liner and stuff and it didn't quite translate very well. I only was able to do like this shade as a liner to make it look real nice. So I would have liked more chocolatey depth out of this, even if it has to contain the shimmer because it makes it more blendable. I just wish it had more depth. I think that could serve all of us a little bit better ultimately. But everything else, I would not change. I would not change at all. Now, having experienced the shadows, I feel like the quality is there. If I'm dividing the amount, are they worth $8 a shadow? Yeah, I would pay more, especially for the shimmers. Wait, did I even do the math right? 8 divided by 30. I don't know how to do math. If this palette was $34 divided by 8, that's $4 a shadow? $4.50? Something like that? $5? This is great. I don't know how to do math. I am going to go back to primary school now, okay? Sorry about that. So I hope everyone is well. I will talk to y'all soon, promise. Be safe and yeah, have a great night. Bye everyone.